Thursday, October 17th saw the gameplay trailer for the Life and Death expansion pack and some more information from the SimGurus. Hello, my name is Jennifer and welcome to my Sims 4 news video. So I will cover the gameplay trailer and that information following that. And as a reminder, not all images will appear in the game. I will have the gameplay trailer run behind, though I will stop it at points to comment on certain things. And also I do have the closed captioning on the transcript so you can see what's there, because of course it was a speaking gameplay trailer. So it was quite humorous, I have to say, but the truth is old age, fire, and anger claim more lives than any other form of death, and the Reaper isn't actually to blame, is what they... It's kind of funny how they said that. And there, I guess, is the workplace, Netherworld Department of Death, and the Grim Turns who join in the Dutiful Career, which we had a separate video they did on that, which I did on that, and you can sort of see the outfits. This is so funny. High percentage rate of hitting our weekly quotas. I don't know that this is a career I want to do. So they do talk about the traits, chased by death there, and how they like to seize the moment, and it makes their job easier because they're like more likely to die. So I think it's the same sim dying over and over again. And then they talk about, you know, the young adults not doing their things. One thing I noticed here is that they're having Woohoo in a coffin, which previously has been locked to vampires with the vampire pack, but this should probably only be Life and Death and base game, so it seems like maybe it's being unlocked for all Sims and not just vampires, I'm guessing, but I don't know if that's just going to be going to base game, because a lot of times when something is added to a later pack, it is actually added to the underlying base game code, so it's available, like photography, when it went into cats and dogs and they were using it for that, it came out of Get to Work and went into base game. That's just one example of actually many examples where they've done that. So I'm wondering if that's what's happening here. But really the focus is on this soul's journey, which if we take a look at that, they have the little symbols, and I kind of wonder, because it said in one of the sources that as you go up, you unlock things. And I'm wondering if those are what you're unlocking. So maybe the first tier you unlock satisfaction points. Maybe the second tier you unlock the ability to have a second aspiration that you get the trait from. Speculating there. And the third one, perhaps something to do with, you know, making jobs easier, perhaps. But I don't know what any of the rest are. I don't know what any of them are. But I don't even have a speculation about what any of the rest are. And even those things are just speculation. But that was from, I'll get the little screenshot and throw it from where I remember seeing it, but it'll be more precise because it'll be actually what I had seen. Right now I'm going off of my memory, and we'll have it continue there as they level up more things. And so your wants, traits, and aspirations contribute to a life, but they're not enough. So they work together somehow. But they go bucket list, however, is a scientifically proven method of ensuring you find fulfillment, and you can scrap it, start over, or do more, which they kind of had talked about a little bit in the discussion beforehand. And then they're just showing some examples, you know, do it today, and another sim that's going to die. And of course, throughout this, you see all of the features like the Create a Sim and the Build By that is coming with the pack, that you just sort of see some of it. Of course, here they're talking about wills, and you can leave a personal note, and you can set the tone for how, I guess, the Sims are going to react when you read that note. And there they show them laughing, which was the playful note that she had set there. And then they have the grave markers, which are the urn, the gravestone, and the crypt, of course. And then you can display which one. And those are obviously just like the pack and base game would be there. And then obviously there would be more options outside of that. And here you have just, you know, some more examples of grieving. They don't really talk about that in here in this trailer. So this trailer seemed to focus on that, you know, soul's journey, and later on a little bit more ghost. But then they do, that's the one of the traits. The two other traits, there's 3 traits coming with the pack. And this is, now you've died, what? And most people think it's game over. And of course, this is what you currently get when the last sim in the household dies, or the last teen and up sim in the household dies, you get a game over and you have to go save and manage worlds, or you can exit to main menu. Of course, exiting to main menu, should mean that you don't accept the death. You can roll back and hopefully prevent it, but that's how it currently is. But with the pack, you have a little rewind in a minute there. No. And instead, you get a whole state of life. And it says, Alita has passed away, and they have like a little thing that they talk about. And at this point, because of how she is, you can become a playable ghost. You can become a free roaming ghost, which is essentially just probably how kind of normally is right now. Or I guess if you completed all of your bucket list and your soul's journey, you could do a rebirth right away. But this particular sim has not, but you can keep working on that as you continue on as a ghost if you become a playable ghost. So then they decide what to do, and they choose to become a playable ghost. And at that point, there are some options on the urn there. So you can mourn past life, you can possess it, which obviously ghosts can currently do, move on to the great beyond, or you can change what the urn display is, even, through the gameplay. And in this case, they choose the move on to the great beyond, so you can sort of see how that goes. But there are resources to help you cope as a ghost. So they show that. And so the rest of this is mostly about like being a ghost. So you can have like new things that ghosts want to do. And then you have that ghost mastery, which they had discussed. You have like the evil tier, the neutral, and then the good. And they have different things that they can do. You get new powers to help you complete your unfinished business with this. And so you can see that whole tier there. And so here's, the soul's journey has changed where they're doing different things. And this is like a good one, expert maintenance. If you go in the neutrality, you can transcend living needs, and you can see they're quite funny. What the ghost needs are called, as usual, are quite funny names there. And they go on. You got the other hand, you might want to get a little nasty. And with this one, they have the ability to levitate, and they can get coins. That's what they show going off. But then Dimitri completed his unfinished business, so his soul's journey is complete. So he fulfilled his purpose and completed the soul's journey, which obviously you can do when you're living, because that sim who died, it was grayed out, but the option to rebirth was there grayed out because she hadn't completed it. But in this case, Dimitri finished it while he was a ghost, and so he got the burning soul trait acquired from doing that. And then they show a little bit of him after he's completed that. So his ghostly powers don't get burnt out, I guess, with that trait. And should he choose to be reborn, he will basically go to this bog, I think it was, in the New World. And you can go into it and be reborn, which maybe he'll be better than he was the first time around. And then this is the pop-up you get, about being reborn. And it says, is your soul ready to embrace the next chapter? And it says, by choosing to rebirth, you will set forth on a new journey as a new sim, leaving your current life behind with no chance of return. You will be taken to manage worlds to select the household where your new life will unfold, and will have the opportunity to fully customize your reborn self and create a sim. While funds, relationships, and achievements from this life will be lost, if you have already unlocked the coveted Burning Soul trait, you will be able to retain one personality trait with the Recall Past Life self-interaction, along with certain others using the Peer into Soul interaction available on mirrors. If you choose to rebirth as a younger sim, certain developmental skills will be immediately unlocked, so you don't have to actually do anything to get them. And I'm guessing that's the infant and toddler stage, because beyond that you can do things. Definitely, I would think the infant stage. And then it says, now the threads of fate lie before you. The choice to weave a new destiny can be made when you are ready. Will you choose to rebirth now? And so you can do it, or you can say, no, you don't want to do it. So then they go through they're going to do the rebirth, which is where we see the new world map with its 3 neighborhoods. But what we didn't know is that there's 14 lots, one of which is the Grim Reaper active career lot, which normally you don't see the active career lot from the map view with like Get to Work and with Get Famous. Those are hidden and you can only get to them when your Sims go to work or with Get to Work. If your Sim has a baby, you can go to the hospital lot then. So I know there's some speculation that maybe the update is letting you go to those currently hidden lots, not just with this pack, assuming that this is how it's going to be. But it's also possible that this is just showing kind of us that there is a lot for that. But when we actually get the game, maybe that lot will still be hidden. I don't know. Just sort of speculating there. So obviously you've got the cemetery lot in the neighborhood at the bottom, and then there is also a bar and a nightclub, and then the rest are residential, of which 2 are empty lots completely, like not built on, not even any landscaping, which I know with Lovestruck there was some landscaping, but there's nothing. They're completely empty, and I don't know for sure which is actually really occupied versus unoccupied, but this is the world as it currently stands, which is kind of nice to see. And then they choose where to go. And so you can choose and then get this rebirth. And this is where they kind of show the, where you can bring the childhood skills and reward traits into this world, which they already kind of said in that little thing. But one thing that's kind of interesting here is that they have that question mark on the left-hand side of the traits, and that's child, teen, and up, that they have that there. So I wonder if that's that extra trait that you can get with that recall past life. I'm wondering if that's what that is, but I'm just speculating, don't really know. And you can pick, obviously, everything when you're creating yourself, and you can change your appearance, obviously your gender, anything that you want to do here. And then they come back as your own great-grandchild, obviously as a teen in this case, or join your rich neighbor's household, which is really quite funny. So I'm not able to do it myself, so I can't endorse it. It was quite funny. But a whole new aspect of life is available to those who return to the living. And so don't fear death. Just embrace what's next, and then, proven that you can now drive your baby with the Grim, with the pack at least. And it's the regular, here's the things that you can get if you purchase by December 12th. You get those 3 items. And of course, the pack itself is available October 31st, in case you didn't know that already. And then it links to the official reveal trailer. And then the description just essentially reiterated some of the things. And if you actually just want to read the transcript, you can show that at the bottom and just read what was said, which I also showed during this video. So now we're going to talk about the tweets that I saw, and I'm going to go over them sort of in the order that I saw them. So this first one was from Cinderella Mouse. Why do I feel like I recognize the voice of Grim? I need to know the actor. It's the same voice as Soldier 76, Fred Taschiori. You can look him up and see more details on him if you're interested. And here, someone asked, are there any interactions with the Paranormal Stuff Pack? And SimGuru Nova said more on that soon. But at this point, I haven't seen an announcement of when the developer live stream is going to be. I thought maybe I might have seen that on Friday, but instead we saw that the update's next week, which we'll get to at the end. That's the last one. And then someone said the game over panel when everyone dies in the household now shows this. And SimGuru Nova said, not just game over, which makes sense because it did look like that the sim was in the household, even though they did show game over first. But yeah, it seems like that's something you would see when someone dies and they can become a playable ghost or become a free roaming ghost, which one plus with that seems to me, because I play mod free after game updates, and I'm always concerned about my Sims dying if there's like kids in the household, and usually I, have emotional deaths. That's the death I'm most, specifically the hysterical death is the one that I'm most concerned about because my Sims get hysterical all the time. So I'm always concerned that that's going to happen and it'll cause me an issue. Because when I play with mods, one, I have emotional death disabled because of that hysterical death. And two, if you have your Sims die and then you have kids or younger in the household, well, then they also get lost. So this seems like that might solve that problem, because if you have a parent and it's the only one in the house and they die, you can become a playable ghost, and so the parent can just be a ghost and then they can't die. So that would be good. And then this one was from SimGuru Bat. It's a little hard to see on the new mohawk hair on Nervous, but it has a subtle but visual, natural hair texture to it. And then they said, I'll try and get a pic in game if I can. And here's a close-up. You can see the texture on the mohawk itself in the scalp area. I will be linking to all of this in a blog post, so you'll be able to see it there if you can't see it in this video. So then someone commented, MapleSimmer commented, before you try for baby, this is what Grim Reaper without a hood looks like. And SimGuru Morgan said, we thought of this. Per lore, he's an entity and doesn't really have a face. You never see it in game without cheats. His babies will be born from a new genetic preset of him so long as you're on a fresh save. And then they said, can you explain why he has these specific face presets? It said in the picture above from MapleSimmer, that is a lack of presets you're seeing for his facial features. But before now, you can only ever see Grim's face via cheats, so he didn't need them at the time. But now, in new saves, I don't know if that's new saves from the update or new saves from the pack, because I'm still not sure whether that's a pack thing or an update thing. I'm going to go with it's a pack thing, but I would wonder if just even in any fresh save, if even without the pack, if maybe there'll be presets and that's a base game thing. I don't know. I'm speculating on that. So then the English Simmer had said that they were confused by the soul's journey and how it's tracked. And I am too, I have to say. And I'm still confused even after seeing this. My understanding is it collates different systems like wants, aspirations, etc. and brings them all together as one giant system alongside new systems like the bucket list. And it seems like it's organizing all these separate systems into one big one, and that's from Jack of All Games. And SimGuru Morgan said, what Jack of All Games 7 said above is accurate about it being encompassing, but also bucket list and unfinished business are the primary ways to progress on your soul's journey, and they're tracked in the same UI to explain why the trailer goes straight into them. But I still don't really understand how that ties into like your aspirations and your wants and fears, because I mean your aspirations are a separate category and I aspiration swap and don't just do one. And that's one of the things that even one of the tool tips when you're traveling comes up sometimes, is that you can aspiration swap. And I'm not really sure. I'm guessing it's still going to be there, but somehow it's going to look at what your aspiration is and then like maybe feed into what might be suggested on the bucket list. But again, I'm speculating on that. In addition to this, SimSegger said, may I ask if there will be cross-pack bucket list options? And SimGuru Nova replied, tons. So it's not just going to be the life and death and base game. So that's good to know. And as I had said already, when Grim says the truth is that old age, fire, and anger claim more Sim lives than any other form of death, because that's an actual Sims 4 fact. Which is kind of funny because for me, like I have said, hysteria is what claims my Sims death. But I also only have aging on for my current household. So when I leave a household, the Sims are still living and they stay alive. So I don't have, Sims dying of old age in my game. I know others do the same. I know that I'm not the only one who does that, but I expect that we're in the minority, those of us who don't, have aging on or have limited aging, like I have limited aging instead. So my Sims don't die of old age. And then SimGuru Ninja said on the 18th, don't worry, still some surprises left. And one of those surprises, which I don't know that he was referring to, is the fact that, as I said, the big base game update is coming on October 22nd, which is a week earlier than I would have expected. And I did a full video on that, which I'll link at the end. So I won't go over that in detail, other than the fact that I'm still a bit surprised that the update is going to be next Tuesday, the 22nd, as opposed to the following one, the 29th, which is when the usual base game updates are before a Thursday pack release. What did you think of the gameplay trailer and the additional information shared here? Did you have a favorite item or items? Were the features that interest you the most covered in the gameplay trailer? Keep in mind that gameplay trailers only cover so much, and hopefully the developer livestream, whenever that will be, though I expect it'll be next week, will go into a bit more detail on what was touched on here, and also cover some other aspects of the pack, which we know from the blog post and the EA app details that there is a lot more than was shown here. I'd love to know your thoughts on what was shown and what was hinted at in a comment down below. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!